that's the important part. Is again the bigger picture consideration, which is what Mookie on MTG Nexus kind of gets at when they say, to me, in the context of EDH, the social contract is an implicit agreement with the other members of my play group regarding how people are going to act, both with regard to deck construction and also with regard to actual gameplay. Depending on what sort of meta you're in, the exact terms of that agreement may differ.
Perfect.
And this is important.
Yep.
And they list 4 bullet points. Yep. Players should try to play decks that are on average roughly the same power of the level of the play group. Makes perfect sense. The corollary to that is you can play a stronger deck occasionally, but if you do, switch to a weaker deck afterwards. What do you think about that point?
I think it's a fine rule to have. I think that this point among the other points is a beautiful illustration of how a social contract can develop within a group that knows itself well. I think that other players who enter into Mookie on MTG Nexus's group may wish they knew the rules a little bit, and so they're going to have to talk about that, right? That's not going to be something that people just commit to memory. But I like the rule like a lot. I practice it I guess I've been subconsciously practicing it quite a bit. Sometimes I'll put a strong deck out, even if it didn't win. If it just seemed to do a lot to the table, I'll just be like, maybe a little less Anthony on the next deck, right?
There have been a couple of times when I've played my Intet deck and we get to an end of the game, whether I've won it or not. Yeah. And I remember, I don't want to play this deck against my friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's fine it was with strangers in a higher power situation, but this is definitely not it, because it becomes oppressive. And Mookie's third bullet point basically boils down to, don't build a deck that will make the rest of the table miserable. And if, there are people who we call griefers who only seek to make other people miserable.
Right.
Please don't be that person.
Right. And like I see a lot of, say, on social media, there's a lot of chatter from people, friends of the show, really smart, wonderful, thoughtful people. You can just tell that part of them, they certainly have a style of play that's like, hey, why not land destruction? Let's not blow up all the lands and stuff. And I think that I would like to think, my hope is, I've not played against all of them, my hope is that they have one of those decks, they play the deck, everybody understands it because, hey, I follow you on Twitter, I know what you're going to do. And then maybe they've got another deck, so even if you're as part of your online personality to kind of do that, to be a bit of a creeper, I think people who maybe read those accounts think that, oh, that's okay for me to do that all the time because so-and-so, who's a bit of something in the Magic community, says that they do it all the time too. And I think that part of it's interpretation. It's like, look, sometimes people put on a little bit of a mask out there and they say, hey, why not blow up everybody's lands? I haven't really seen that many games involved where too many players do that all the time. They usually don't play more than a couple of games before the rest of the table gets, maybe you're looking for another table.
Obliterate and win is fine with me.
Yeah.
It's like, I have Avacyn in play, obliterate, all my stuff stays alive, nobody else has anything.
Right.
Why don't we go to game 2?
Yeah.
That's fine with me. Armageddon on an empty board just makes me crazy.
Yeah. No, that's the kind of stuff. And people are like, well, but if that's what I really like, then why can't I play that way? Well, if you can find 3 other players that want to do that,
right. Good for you.
You then have a discussion with them, and if you found those 3 players, maybe take note of their identity so you can find them again, because you may have trouble finding them, 3 other people.